Good evening, everybody. Welcome into Auto Rhythm Fantasy Studios. I am your host, Jamie, and I got my co-host Eli over there on the other side. It's a lovely Tuesday night evening here in the Dakotas, and we are going to break down some fantasy irrelevant players for you guys this upcoming season. We are covering the Big Ten, and it should
Big
be
Ten.
a blast. It should be a blast. And yeah, don't mind. I'm not wearing any shades because it's all business tonight.
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I was like, where's the shades at? I don't think we get to see him a lot without the shades, but he's here. Got off with his got done with his work shift. I was working earlier today too. I was slinging them packages and I was up on the roof. I was cleaning out gutters, and now we're here talking some Big
Butters.
Ten. Can't wait. Got my little screwdriver here. So
Yeah, just plain water here for myself.
plain water.
Yes.
We got to take care of the business first, though, Jay. Social media, got to cover that real quick. The X, you can find Jamie, Auto Rhythm Fan. Me, it's just my full name. Spotify, that's kind of my personal favorite. That's what I listen to for music, podcasts, everything. Spotify, you can find us over there. Discord, all the good stuff. Instagram, I should be taking more selfies, more naked photos, half naked photos.
Oh, yes, we have our first.
I haven't taken advantage of that yet. So maybe,
Oh, hey, well, I think that's a good thing here. But yes, I gotta pull up this here because I asked a friendly friend from CFB Dynasty to just pop in. If you guys haven't checked them out, I mean, they dive into anything. Well, not anything, but all Dynasty college football. They have a great pod over there. I started following them a few years ago. Jumped in on their pod. Yes, I mean these guys are very knowledgeable over there. They have a breakdown of everything too over there as well, and they actually just started on QBs. He was mentioning to me, so go check them out too. Their podcast is way better. They're up there in subscribers and stuff like that over there, but. We are still growing. We like to put a little niche on the college realm ourselves a little bit differently, but we like to give a nice full, I don't know, in tune so you guys know what you guys are getting. I guess. I don't know.
Oh, we
fill
it up. We talk about.
As I would say, we put the research in for you guys. That's what I should have said actually. So.
Yes.
Put research in. But yeah, no, the season is actually coming around real soon too as well. So subscribe, follow us on the X. Yes, follow us on the X. I put up a top 3 guys waivers, and when we do our waivers, I give you like 9 or 10 guys. Go back, recap the top 3, and add in a bunch of other guys. Eli gives you a bunch as well because the season's coming up. It's going to be a blast. We want to get college a little more recognizable. We want people playing more college than the NFL. I mean, college is more exciting than 136 teams. Come on. But
yeah, lots of variety, lots of players, and so far what we've covered, the Sun Belt did both sides, East and West, both divisions of the Sun Belt. And then we covered the AAC. Now, Big Ten. Bet, Big Ten. Ah!
Sorry, I don't have my sound effects tonight because I still haven't figured that out yet. Yeah.
I gotta make them. I gotta make them up as I go. We need those fucking sound effects. God damn it. Yeah.
Yes.
Back, but
I honestly I don't know what's going on with my computer. I don't know. I tried to figure it out. I mean, from one thing to another, and I don't know. It was working, and then I don't know. I think my computer does not like me.
I don't think it likes you either. His dog Delilah hates me. His computer hates him. So that's how that goes.
As Matt would say, there's nothing like a college draft except when you're doing a college to pro dynasty draft. I mean, there's a lot of that CDC stuff out there, the Devy leagues and stuff like that. I haven't really got into that myself, and to me, I think that's a little bit too much work. But hey, guys,
we kind of Well, we kind of bridge the gap. I feel when we do our college spotlights, and the way we set it up is, if you're unfamiliar with some of these smaller school guys, like even like last year, we bring them up a lot. RJ Harvey from UCF. Unless you're a big time college football fan, and now all of a sudden he's going to be probably the starting running back with the Broncos. So, so we kind of bridge the gap. And if you play in a league like that goes from, college to the NFL, how you can follow along. But yeah, yeah, there's Big D. Badgers should be ranked number 1. The Badges. I don't think so. I think you're dreaming. I like some of the guys they picked up in the transfer portal, but Donovan, they're going to struggle to win 7 games. Let's just be honest.
I don't know. Is there any Badgers in my top 15?
Well, Jay, I guess Jay's a little bit higher on Wisconsin than I am, but
I don't know. I mean, who knows? I mean, Eli might have some Badgers. I don't know. We'll find out. But yeah, we're gonna dive into the
see what I got.
here.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yep.
We'll
Eli's gonna give you his top 5 at every position: running backs, tight ends, quarterbacks, and I will give you. Well, we actually got some sleepers too as well coming up too. So we'll be talking about some sleepers, and then we'll break down like a lot of just different play breakdowns in the division, what teams actually got a lot of plays. So you can kind of vary on, kind of looking there, for fantasy production as well. I mean, we'll talk about that too as well.
Yeah. We have different metrics we use to kind of come up with the lists here. We usually only cover the skill position guys, so it's tight ends, quarterbacks, running backs, wide receivers. Defense, kickers, we don't really get into that. Should be 50. I'm coughing up that bullshit. That's spent too much time around the fire this weekend. You know what? Let me start with this though. Jay had mentioned that the season is coming up. August 23rd is the first weekend. I think I mentioned the last stream we did that the Big 12 matchup, Iowa State, K-State, top 25 matchup, that'll be in Ireland. I think that's kind of the headline game of that weekend. But yeah, season's rolling up. Week and a half. I mean, it's what, the 12th? Wednesday the 12th or Tuesday the 12th is when we're streaming here. So I mean, season's coming up in less than 2 weeks. So if you got drafts coming up, or you want to follow along with us, we're going to try to get, like to get 2 more conferences in. That would be great before the season kicks off. But for sure, at least one. And the Big Ten here obviously is a bigger conference, no pun intended. So we're gonna cover a lot of ground. God, I need to wet my whistle here.
Yeah, this is actually so. Just while you're taking that drink, this is our first time kind of diving into everything. So I mean, next year the platform could change a little bit too. But let us know what you guys think overall.
Michael Phelps
from the last couple pods. You guys gonna like the layout? Do you like how we're presenting things to you? Does it help you guys out? Does it give you a little bit more of a vision? More of a view on players, different teams, and stuff like that. Do you guys enjoy? The little breakdown where we're giving to you guys. So just let us know in the comments, even from past streams. You can go check those out too as well. I have a playlist over there on YouTube, so go and check those out. Let us know what do you think. But anyways, let's get into the
enough plugging our old stuff. Enough sexual innuendos. That's why everybody's here. Everybody's here to kind of learn about the 2025 Big Ten class here for fantasy. You know what, Jay? We're going to kick it off like we always do. We're going to do some quarterbacks. Pow! You see, look at that light. Look at that light up football. Look at
that. Wow. This is a very interesting top 5 you got here.
I know.
It is, actually, to be honest with you. And one guy at number 4, I'm actually pretty intrigued with that. But, I mean, this is a very interesting top 5.
Yeah, I think the top 2 guys are pretty universal. I mean, Altmaier obviously isn't going to give you, the rushing stats of a more mobile guy. Like even Nico, he's not as mobile as Nico is, but Altmaier from Illinois, I had to put him at 2. He was one of the top quarterbacks, especially returning this year. So Luke Altmaier from Illinois, I put at 2. But Drew Aller, I think the universal number 1 fantasy quarterback in the Big Ten, and one of the best fantasy quarterbacks in the country going into 2025. I don't think that's debatable. Last year, his completion percentage went up, completed almost 67% of his passes, had over 3,300 yards passing, which for Penn State is great. Penn State's usually known for their running game, but Aller was tearing it up through the air, 24 touchdowns, only 8 picks. Gave a little bit on the ground, a little over 300 yards, 6 rushing touchdowns. Decent yards per attempt, about 8.5 roughly. So, I don't know where he'd rank nationally. I mean, with all, if we combined all the conferences, like where Drew Aller would fall in, but to me, the Big Ten, he's number 1. And I'll complete, unless Jay has a really strong opinion, I'll run through these 5 here and then let him give his thoughts and opinions. And then I do the same with him. Usually towards the end of the show, Jay will have his lists and I'll give my 2 cents. Is usually how we run it. We're like, tag team back again. So I tag him in, he tags me in. That's how it goes. I mentioned him earlier, Jay. Luke Altmaier from Illinois, put him at number 2. He's kind of a lesser Drew Aller, like in terms of the completion percentage isn't there. The passing yards, a little over 2,700 last year. 22 passing touchdowns, a little bit on the ground, 217 yards and 4 touchdowns. So, not on the level of Drew Aller, but until who is the Ohio State kid that's filling in?
That one. Yeah, I think it's Sane. It's one of those. I'm like,
yeah. Until obviously they're going to have more weapons to work with at Ohio State and Oregon. Dante Moore, I think, is going to be the starting quarterback at Oregon. So obviously those 2 could jump in the top 5 at any given point, given the weapons they have. Especially Sayin, he's working with Jeremiah Smith, who's one of the best receivers in the country. So this could change mid-season, but for right now, Luke Altmaier, I put at number 2. Damon Williams from Washington, I put at number 3. This is the first surprise, but if you dig into it a little bit, and he didn't really, he was kind of doing mop-up duty. And then I think where he exploded is that Sun Bowl game, that bowl game at the end of the year. He had almost 400 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, gave a little bit on the ground, had about 48 yards rushing, 1 touchdown. For the whole, compilation of his, pretty much it's mop-up duty, and then maybe like 2 starts. So, but Damon Williams, I was very impressed. 8 touchdowns, 1 pick for the entire season, completed 78% of his passes. So obviously he's not going to complete 78% for a full season, but if he could do, 69, 70%, that'd be damn good. Put up, anywhere between 22 to 26 touchdowns passing, maybe 7, 8 rushing touchdowns. I think that'd be a damn good fantasy year. And what he's working with there, he's got Jonah Coleman, stud running back is coming back. Denzel Boston, who we'll probably get into in the receivers list. One of the best receivers in the country, in my opinion. So he's working with some guys. Washington might be back this year. They kind of, obviously they made the national championship game 2 years ago. lost their coach, lost Penix, obviously, all their receivers. We remember Roman Dunze, all those guys. But, Washington might move forward this year. Washington might be a sleeper get at least, maybe be on the border of being a playoff team, maybe in that top 20 mix or so.
Yeah,
So
and we're just talking about the Big Ten here too. I mean, Altmaier was actually fifth overall in just the standings, just within the Big Ten. Wildhauer, Gabriel, Alar is going to be up there. So I mean, this is going to be a different mix. And I didn't really watch a lot of with Washington last year, and I should have because
I
he
didn't either,
what.
except Jonah Coleman, Denzel
Yeah,
Boston. That was about it.
yeah, pretty much. And well, the thing about it is,
Will Rogers didn't do shit for me.
a lot of people talk about freshmen. I mean, look at Sam Levitt did down in Arizona, and now when Williams up in. So I mean, there's going to be the Big Ten is actually going to have a few freshmen starting this year, and I don't know. I might take a gamble on some of these freshmen this year, especially if we're in fantasy. I mean, it all depends on. Well, for me, it's going to depend on some of the wide receivers, and I think there is a good lookout on some of those wide receivers with some of these teams, just because some of the targets are going to be vacant. Because some of these guys, with Altmaier, I like him, but the only downfall is Pat Bryant left. But there might be a guy that is one of my sleepers that probably could actually see some huge targets.
You know what? I don't usually do this. I usually go in order like I'm supposed to, but
Nope,
it's my show.
nope. Stay in order. Stay in order. Nope, you gotta stay in order, bro.
I wanted to jump. Damn it. Anyway, so we'll be coming back to Illinois because there's a my sleeper is going to be an Illinois receiver who transferred. So we'll get it. Yep, we'll get into him. I don't know if he can replace Pat Bryant. Pat Bryant's a big loss. I mean, Pat Bryant was one of the best fantasy receivers last year in the country. Like Jay was saying, I mean, we covered two smaller conferences before this, right? We covered the AAC, we covered the Sun Belt. So, I mean, we're kind of going with no-name guys, towards the back end of the top five. You have a couple maybe known names, like Owen McCown. Obviously, that's Josh McCown's son, from UT San Antonio, so there was a few smaller conference quarterbacks that we maybe knew about, but Braylon Braxton from Southern Miss. But here you get in the Big Ten, Drew Aller, household name. We all saw him in the playoffs last year. Luke Altmaier, he might work his way into, especially after last year. Didn't Illinois win like 10 games or so? Might work
they won a few. Oh yeah.
Yeah, they won quite a few. Yeah. So he might work his way in, kind of come out of nowhere and maybe end up at the end of the year being like a top 15 fantasy quarterback, overall, not just in the Big Ten, but just in general, kind of where Cade Klubnik was for Clemson. He kind of came out of nowhere last year and had a big fantasy year. So Altmaier is in the same vein. Damon Williams, obviously from Washington, I like a lot. This guy, number 4, Jay, Nico. Oh my God. How did UCLA? That's the bigger question. How the hell did UCLA land him? Okay, I know all the weird. I mean, we all remember all the weird shit going on with Tennessee and Nico. He signed a contract before because I don't know if he was a 5-star. He was at least a 4-star recruit. I mean, Nico was highly touted. He was supposed to be the next. I mean, he was supposed to be better than Hendon Hooker and who's the Patriots quarterback that we liked from Tennessee, but it slips my mind. But he was supposed to be better than them. Like Nico was supposed to be like a future first-round draft pick. So how he got to UCLA? I mean, that's a big coup for UCLA. I mean, they haven't been. I mean, when's the last time they've been relevant? Maurice Jones-Drew, like 20 years ago. I mean, nobody gives a shit about UCLA. They do now because
I mean.
Year, I
love that, blue and gold. I mean, what's there not to like about that blue and gold?
Not to like? It's a beautiful uniform. It's a beautiful logo. You think of UCLA, you think of basketball, you think of John Wooden, and you think of all that. But this year, you're going to think of Nico. You're going to think of Nico. Let's just run down his stats quick at Tennessee last year. Obviously, different school, different weapons. He was working with Dylan Sampson and better players with the Vols, but. Over 2,600 yards passing, 19 touchdowns, only 5 picks. gave you, over 350, about 358 rushing yards, 3 rushing touchdowns. So gave you a little bit on the ground. You'd like a little bit more, but not a bad first year starting. I'm curious, and these last 3 guys here is more out of curiosity. Now you could stick in, obviously, Sayin from Ohio State, more from Oregon, just with the weapons they're working with. Maybe you could stick in Billy Edwards. He was with Maryland last year. Maryland had one of the best passing attacks in the Big Ten. Billy Edwards is actually, I think he's with Wisconsin now. So maybe that's why Donovan was so optimistic. Maybe that's why Donovan was so damn happy. He's like, oh, we got a stud quarterback coming in here. But
So I don't know. I mean, your last guy here is, for me to actually think about this, is how are they going to rebound from actually, a no pat, going from a heavy rush to a pass offense. And that's the thing I'm kind of curious about, because they really didn't do a whole lot in the air, and they were more a ground and pound kind of team. And we know Gronkowski, from the Jacks, he aired it out. He had I'm not sure his stat. I didn't look up his stats. I should have.
I did. I cut. That's why there's 2 of us. That's why there's. That's why double trouble. That's why there's 2 of us. Jay, I have his stats in front of me. Okay, his completion percentage went down last year. Obviously, they were still elite in FCS. The Jacks, but the previous. So I mean, you could argue, Jay, for the last 3 years. The last 3 years, he's been one of the best, if not the best, FCS player. He really has. Last year, his stats dipped a little bit. Had over 2,700 yards passing, 23 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns. I think his best year statistically, and the Jacks won the FCS title that year, but was in 2023. Had 29 passing touchdowns, over 3,000 yards, 68% completion. I think 8 rushing touchdowns. So he can get it done on the ground. Obviously, Iowa's not known for their passing game. They never have been. I think Kirk Ferentz is still there as the coach. I mean, he's been there. It seems like 50 years, but it's more or less a hope. I've been a big Mark Gronkowski fan for the last few years. Obviously, we're a South Dakota show. We're South Dakota boys. We live here. I live in Sioux Falls, which is about an hour south of the SDSU. Two-time FCS national championships champions. But you could put a couple guys here. You could put Billy Edwards, like I'd mentioned earlier. Had a great year at Maryland last year. Wisconsin, I don't think he's working with as good as weapons in Wisconsin. He's not working with Ty Felton. He's not working with Prather, the 2 stud NFL receivers. But so put him here. Think about some of the losses. I mean, where was I supposed to go? Even Max Brosmer from Minnesota, he's gone. Where do you go? I mean, I guess you could stick a younger guy in here. I guess maybe Dylan Raiola, if he gets his head out of his ass. Yeah, I was not impressed last year with all the hype. And Nico was better. I mean, Nico was better. Damon Williams from Washington. I forget if DJ Legway from Florida was a freshman, but Legway was way better than Dylan Raiola. So I wasn't going to put Raiola in my top 5 here. So Gronkowski just with his, he's going to bowl you over and get some rushing touchdowns. I don't know if his passing touchdowns are going to be where they were at FCS, but I just think he's a winner, and he's going to find a way to put stats on the board. And that's what I'm kind of hoping. Put him at number 5. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I don't know. I mean, Legway, we didn't see a whole lot of him, but I mean, there's potential. I mean,
he was good. He was good. The rest of the team was garbage, but DJ Legway was good.
And I think a lot of us dawn on freshmen a lot, because we're like, oh, we don't know what they're gonna do, or we don't know what their outcome's gonna be. I think it just draft them and actually just wing it and see what happens. I mean, there might be a better quarterback out there that might be before, but I mean, a lot of these freshmen, they are especially Williams. He's landing in a good program. I mean, why not have him as your waiver? When your guy goes and buy, why not put him in that place for that coverage that week or whatever? If he doesn't do well or whatever, or if he's actually doing well, hell, settle him. Someone will bite on them, so I mean, somebody might need a quarterback or whatever. So I mean, it's very possible, you could buy and sell these guys too, especially if you're playing a dynasty, which it's like so I'm kind of looking at some of these freshmen too, and I'm like, ooh, dynasty.
Ooh, yeah. And that's another big factor too, is especially for the more like running back, wide receiver, I'll put like eligibility, so I'll include that when I do the top 5 lists for the some of the other positions. But quarterback, I just assume these guys are going to stay in school a long time, just with the NIL money, the maturation process. We see how well Bo Nix is doing. Bo Nix spent what 6 years in college, and Bo Nix is
6 years. Damn, that's a long time. No,
I know, but he's making
thing about it now.
He's making that sweet NIL money, and he's on the ascension. I think this year he'll be a top 10 fantasy quarterback in the NFL.
I think that's more a reason to play college fantasy, because when everybody gets in the NFL, everybody cries about, oh, they're too old this, too old that. Well, maybe maybe you should be playing college fantasy where you can actually play these guys way before they actually hit the NFL, and you'd be happy with the results.
That's right. We knew about Bo Nix had 45 passing touchdowns at Oregon in 2023. So if you played fantasy, you would have known that. Let's go. Yeah. Is it raspberry? Like the fruit? I could
just
go for some. I got some blueberries in the fridge.
But
just saying.
So are we done with quarterbacks?
I'm all out of
Are we done with quarterbacks?
Yep. Done with quarterbacks.
Are we?
Is it running back time?
I guess so. Oh, what a spoiler! This is a total spoiler. I tell you,
you ain't gonna get no damn drum roll for that.
No, I don't know. I've been seeing a few of these guys that you have on your list. But I got a couple of these. Well, actually,
great minds think alike, Jay.
God, this sucks. How are we supposed to give any information if we have the same guys here?
I stole your bit. What are you gonna do?
Absolutely nothing.
Start looking at the depth charts again. Oh shit. We'll find.
Oh, well,
I was gonna say but I did put your guy at number 1.
You better. Here's the funny thing. The funny thing, as soon as he got transferred, I put a tweet out there that Hughes is going to be the number 1 running back coming into the season, starting for the Ducks, and people are like, "Oh no, you're delirious." And my tweet stands very, very well right now.
He will be. Look at me. Look at this. My girlfriend's daughter. That's why I'm like eyes. Look at right here. Mekhi Hughes will be the number 1 fantasy running back in all of college football in 2025. If you get your hands on him, if you fuck up the championship, or at least like a semifinal, that's on you. But Mekhi Hughes, absolute stud. Last year at Tulane and they got pillaged, man. I feel like I said, I still feel bad for Tulane. They're one of the best, if not the best, G5 programs. So I feel for Tulane, but I mean the big boys came calling, and nobody's got a bigger bankroll than like Oregon or Texas or Ohio State. So they come calling, sorry, deuces. I'm better than Jordan James. All right, so but had over 1,400 yards rushing last year, 15 rushing touchdowns. I'd like a little bit more in the receiving game. I think if he can improve there, that's going to be where he takes that next level. He only had 176 yards on 19 catches, two receiving touchdowns. So in all 17 total touchdowns, about 1,600 all-purpose yards. I think he's going to take that next step. I think he's going to be closer to 2,000 all-purpose yards with Oregon. And I think he's just going to tear up college football. And they got a young, this isn't Oregon from 2 years ago with Bo Nix, who was a seasoned 45 touchdown quarterback. Last year, Dylan Gabriel was one of the best fantasy quarterbacks in the country. In a one of the Heisman finalists, I think. So
he was. Yep.
Yeah, Dylan Gabriel was great. Bo Nix was great. I don't know about Dante Moore. He's still a younger guy, so they might rely on the running game this year. So if there was ever going to be a year where Oregon, the Oregon running back was just gonna boom, this would be the year. Jay, Nicholas Singleton from Penn State, he's been Mr. Consistent. You know how I used to say that about Terry McLaurin, in the NFL. The NFL stuff. I was like, Terry McLaurin is Mr. Consistent every year, 1,100 yards. Like whatever, between 4 to 7 touchdowns. You know what you're getting with Terry McLaurin. You know what you're getting with Nicholas Singleton. It took him 16 games. But he did have about 1,100 yards rushing.
Only 16 games?
Only 16, yeah. Only 16 games. Had about 1,100 yards rushing, 12 rushing touchdowns. I love his ability, in the receiving game, and that's what's going to translate the best to the NFL when he eventually enters the draft next year. 41 receptions, about 375 yards, 5 receiving touchdowns. He was targeted 53 times. So obviously Drew Aller and the Penn State offense, they trusted throwing the ball to him, whether it was dink or dunk or not. I mean, Nicholas Singleton is an all-around running back. And, it's going to be more of the same from last year. I think that's why Penn State is like a preseason number 2 team. They're returning a lot of the same players. Obviously, you lost Tyler Warren. We know that's a big loss, but, quarterback, both running backs are back.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I was just going to say, this is going to be a 2-headed monster because, I mean, both these backs put up monster.
Yeah, both these backs are really good. I can only pick one, Singleton, I think, is a little bit better. So I understand where you're at. Number 3, I put Darius Taylor from the Gophers. Don't you just love that little gopher? Don't you just love that cute little gopher?
I know. I can't really see it. I really can't see anything here. Really, I mean, I just see an M.
well, close enough. But Minnesota's assembling some talent. I mean, they really are. They, obviously Brosmer wasn't drafted last year, but he was in the conversation. He went to the combine at quarterback. Gears, the tight end, we'll probably talk about when we get to the fantasy tight ends. Even Rashad Bateman from 5 years ago, 5-6 years ago, Rashad Bateman was a first-round receiver. So the Gophers are, they're getting some skill position guys. Darius Taylor's awesome. I love this guy a lot. Rushing yards have to come up. I mean, he was a little bit under 1,000 yards last year, 10 rushing touchdowns. But in the receiving game, 54 receptions, which is awesome. 350 yards, 2 touchdowns on 66 targets. So another situation like with Nick Singleton, Taylor is an all-around running back. You'd like a little bit, for him to take that next step where he can come close to a Mekhi Hughes or in that kind of that next level. Like the rushing yards got to get up, 1,300 yards at least.
This is what, for him to get 1,000 yards, I think Minnesota needs some wide receivers that can break open. I mean, I know I mentioned one guy last year, but it just seems like Minnesota just kind of dragged. The only plays that came from is from Taylor. You didn't really see any wide receiver. Really didn't see any wide receivers really nailing it. Highlights or anything like that. So I mean, for me, I think they need some wide receivers in here to actually boost this offense. But I could be mistaken. I know. Hopefully, maybe somebody steps up. But I mean, that time will tell if Minnesota even does anything. But I mean, there is one guy. Maybe I hope his name's Driver, but I don't know. We'll see.
Arnold Driver from the Packers. Maybe is he coming out of retirement? Maybe he wants some NIL money. I know I want some NIL money. Maybe I'll enter the portal. So Darius Taylor, put number 3. Love him a lot. Probably the best player on the Gophers team. Offense, defense, Darius Taylor is probably their best player. I'm surprised he stayed there. I'm surprised that a bigger, an Ohio State, a bigger program didn't swoop in and try to grab him. Jonah Coleman, I put at number 4. Another, big, I think he's 228 pounds, just a big bowler. Doesn't give you a ton in the receiving game. Had 177 yards on 23 receptions on 27 targets. His strength is more on the ground between the tackles. Had over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns. So, obviously he's not at the level of these upper 3 guys, just with the versatility. But Jonah Coleman's a solid running back, going to get you at least 1,000. He stays healthy, going to probably repeat what he did, get you at least 1,000 yards, 1,100 yards rushing. And, he's going to come in handy. I saw Jonah Coleman on the waivers earlier in the season last year. So, and I'm pretty, he's going to be drafted this year, and he probably has been. That's another thing we got to do. We got to do a mock draft for the people, Jay. We got to do a mock draft.
Yeah, we do.
And we'll kind of see where things are at, with some of these players. But yeah, Jonah Coleman I like a lot. The Huskies I think are on the ascent. I think they're gonna surprise some people this year in the Big Ten for sure. And then my last guy, Rutgers Rutgers got some players in the portal. Usually we don't talk about Rutgers. You don't see a lot of the what scarlet, red, and black. You don't see a lot of that shit. But we're talking some Rutgers tonight. I don't think anybody's talked about Rutgers since Ray Rice, and we know what he did.
Oh, burn!
But
I know.
But no, CJ Campbell, he don't do that. He don't mess with that. Last year at FAU, I'm surprised you didn't put Allen up here with Singleton. Yeah. I had to pick one. I think Singleton is the more versatile back. More. I like him more. And on weeks where maybe the running game is getting shut down, Singleton's going to get you. He's going to get you like 4 catches. So and those are points. So I'm looking at it from like a fantasy perspective. You could argue tit for tat, but back to CJ Campbell last year at FAU. Jay. Another AAC guy. So two of my top 5 guys were pillaged from the AAC. Sorry. Had 11 rushing touchdowns last year. What I love about CJ Campbell is the versatility. I mean, he was one of the best receiving running backs in the country last year. 40 receptions, 466 yards, 3 touchdowns, 59 targets. So they trusted him. He was the FAU offense last year. I mean, he was. Remember RVD? The whole effing show. That was CJ Campbell at FAU last year.
Damn right.
Those are my top 5 running backs.
I like it. I mean, you stole my guy. You stole my Campbell. I mean, Taylor's all right, but I know Taylor he's either first round or second round guy for sure. Some of the mocks that I've actually seen already. And, Campbell is another guy. I mean, I think, with Mungai actually leaving to the Bears, I mean, this opens up for Campbell to, actually take the carries, show what he's made of. And, he's good in the backfield and the receiving game too, as well. And I love the top 5. I like it.
And one more thing on CJ Campbell before I move on to the receivers, Jay. He only had 1 fantasy game under 10 points. So CJ Campbell is another consistent guy. He's going to get you points every single week. We know how, Rutgers isn't known for a lot, but they always produce good running backs. So they're going to take care of this guy. He's going to be a household name before you know it, like at least in the fantasy world.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I agree.
Is it receiver time?
Man, you're still in all my guys. God, now I'm not going to have anything at the end. I'm just going to have to wash everything now. God damn it, man.
Yep. Get like I said, get the depth charts up. Get the tab open. You're going to need it.
I might. God.
Obviously, universal number 1. I think everybody would agree on that. Jeremiah Smith, one of the best receivers in the country. The guy, he's a freak. What more do I need to say? over 1,300 yards last year, 76 receptions on 106 targets, 15 receiving touchdowns. Ooh, and then he gave you something in the running game too. He had 47 rushing yards and a touchdown, so 16 total touchdowns for a goddamn freshman. So, yeah, good luck
16
because he's already probably rostered. Sorry, you ain't getting your hands on Jeremiah Smith.
I mean, if you're playing Dynasty, no. But in redraft, yes.
In redraft, yeah. Dynasty, bye-bye. Bye-bye. You ain't getting him. Now, the rest of these guys, you have a chance at. Trade or, redraft or whatever. Work something out. You ain't getting Jeremiah Smith, but you might get Elijah Surratt. You offer the right price. Last year, had 53 receptions, 957 yards, 8 touchdowns on 87 targets. He had a damn good year because he followed the coach over, didn't he? The Indiana coach from JMU.
That's very possible. I mean, last time I haven't really
because I think that's where he got his name out there, and the coach brought him with. But I think he had almost 1,200 yards receiving with JMU a couple of years ago too. So he's had 2 really productive years in a row. And I put him here just with the potential. Fernando Mendoza, the quarterback from Cal that transferred. He might actually be a little bit better than Curtis Rourke was last year. So he might, Elijah Surratt's stats might go up a little bit, and that's what I'm kind of banking on. You could put him. I think he's a lock top 5. I'd say for the conference, but I mean you could move Surratt to number 5. I don't think anybody would blink an eye if you wanted to bump up Lemon or Boston or something, but put Elijah Surratt from Indiana number 2. Number 3, Jay, the transfer portal brought in Devontae Ross from Troy. Oh man,
Woo!
had over 1,000 yards last year, 11 receiving touchdowns, a whopping 129 targets. Ooh.
Yes. And that's the thing about it. I know Ross. I know a lot of people have been talking about Ross. I just Twitter and all that stuff, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, everybody don't think he will bring the production that he did."
Oh shit! What the fuck are they talking, Jay? Last year against Iowa, 5 receptions, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns. Okay, I know he was at Troy. So, we covered the Sun Belt the last time. I mean, Devontae Ross was a big omission, but hello, Iowa's a Big Ten team. They'll be playing them, and he'll be whooping their ass again. This time with a better quarterback, better offensive line, better schemes. They're gonna get this guy open. He's going to be the number 1 receiver for fucking Penn State,
I mean, I think with the loss of their tight end, I mean, there's going to be some targets there for him, and he's a very versatile wide receiver. And I just think, I mean, for me, I think, I would probably have him as my 2nd or 3rd guy, depending on where he lands. Probably my 2nd wide receiver for sure. But I mean, I just like what this guy brings to the table. I mean, even though he played in a smaller conference, I still think he can still bring something to the yard.
His milkshake brings all the boys to the yard. So I should mention Jeremiah Smith. I think technically he's a redshirt sophomore. I'd have to double check that, or he might just be a sophomore. That's debatable.
As far as I know, they said he was a freshman. So last year.
So Jeremiah, I'm just thinking from like dynasty perspective, like how many years you could potentially get out of these guys. Jeremiah Smith, 2 at the most.
Yeah, more likely.
Yeah, he's going to come out the minute he's eligible. Let's just be honest. He's too good. Surratt, senior. Devontae Ross is going to come out, after this year. We'll see where his production is at. The number 4 guy, Jay, Mekhi Lemon, only a junior. So you might get a couple years out of Mekhi Lemon, because I don't know how high up on the draft boards he's going to be. It depends on what happens this year. But he kind of morphed into USC's number 1 receiver. Had 52 receptions last year, 764 yards on. only 3 touchdowns. He's got to get those numbers up. Obviously, they're not number one receiver numbers, but these are projections. I'm projecting he's going to take that next step.
I think a lot of it too is going to be on quarterback play after losing, Miller and whatnot.
Moss.
So, I mean, yeah. So I mean, I think that's going to come into play too, because he transferred out, he went somewhere else. So I think a lot of that is going to come down to, I think their running game slacked a little bit, but we'll get into more of that too when we get farther into the show here. But I mean, I know I didn't look, or for me, I was trying to look at it. I'm like, ooh, I don't have any USC guys in my top 15 at all. So I'm like, it's like, did they even have anybody irrelevant for me to actually take a look at? So I'm like, but I mean, you brought up Lemon. I don't know. Maybe I'll just take a look at him and see. I mean, look back and see how what quarterback they have for this year, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, they obviously we know why they left, the Pac-12 for the Big Ten for the money, but it's kind of like Oklahoma. Oklahoma took a step back, leaving the Big 12 and going to the SEC. USC is like the equivalent. Like they took a step back, moving to the Big Ten. They don't have, obviously they had Caleb a couple years ago. They had Woody Marks last year, who's a really good running back, but they can't compete with a Penn State. They can't compete with Ohio State.
They lost another good guy too. They lost Zachariah Branch. So
Zachariah Branch.
Yep.
Another good receiver that left. So Mekhi Lemon by default is going to be their number one target. So these are just, I'm hoping, and I've heard a lot of St. Brown comps from the Lions. Similar size too. I think
St. Brown,
Lemon's 5'11", 190. So yeah. Yeah, if he could be half as good as Amon-Ra St. Brown, Godspeed.
Right.
And then number 5, Jay, I put Denzel Boston. He's 6'4". He's a big boy, big target. Last year, 63 receptions, over 800 yards, nine touchdowns. I think going into this year, he's going to be the number one receiver for Washington. I think he was a little banged up in the offseason, but he should be good to go for week 1. Boston, I don't know. I think him and Damon Williams are going to be a nice quarterback receiver combo, and then you throw in Jonah Coleman. I think they have another really good receiver too. So his name slips me, but I don't know. What do you think about the top 5, and what do you think about Denzel Boston?
I like Boston because with Washington kind of revamping a little bit, especially with the run game and everything like that. I mean, Boston, I know he didn't really have quite 1,000 yards, but I mean, there's potential here, especially with having a freshman guy, and then with him coming back, with having that rapport with Boston and stuff like that. I think this is only going to amplify, him having a successful season this year, and people are probably going to love what he's going to bring this year to fantasy as well.
You know what I wish I could bring more into fantasy. I really wish I could. I think there's another beer in the fridge, but I'll wait. I'm going to get my last segment in here, and then I'm going to tag Jamie in, and I'm going to go snag it. I think I got a line of Kugels in the fridge that's calling my name.
Googles? You have Googles in your fridge? You better put on those beer goggles.
If I can do that, I'm trying to do the gritty. Trying to do the Justin Jefferson dance. Tight end. Wait.
What?
Yep.
You have another one of my guys? Oh my God! Come on.
Yep. There we go. Kobe. Bam. So we got some tight ends here. If you don't have a tight end, what do you do, Jay? If you're a big program, you pay one and you bring them in, and that's what Ohio State did. And they're like, forget this nonsense. Tyler Warren, Penn State, hold my beer. We're gonna go get Max Clare. Max Clare was probably the second best fantasy tight end in the Big Ten last year with Purdue. So you can just imagine what saying Jeremiah Smith. They got some players. They got some players at Ohio State. They have some players.
Do they have?
And I'll just run over his stats because some people might be like, "Who the hell is Max Clare?" Like it sounds like a music group, Max Clare. Like Had 51 receptions last year on 81 targets, 685 yards receiving, 4 touchdowns. And he had a couple big games against, some of the better teams, and we've talked about him. Illinois, Penn State had 133 yards against Illinois, 91 yards and a touchdown against Penn State. So he was, putting up good stats against better competition in the conference too. So he's not a small school guy coming in with the big sharks. Like he was at Purdue. He was with lesser talent playing these bigger schools. I think he's going to be just fine. I think he's probably the universal number 1 fantasy tight end for the Big Ten. Number 2, Jay, I put Kenyon Sadiq. He's got some big shoes to fill. He's replacing Terrence Ferguson. And, Ferguson was the number 1. Sadiq actually had some, for being a number 2 tight end last year, he actually had some decent stats. 24 receptions, a little over 300 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. But, he'll get the full-time job this year. And what I like, Jay, he's got 2 years of eligibility. Tight ends don't usually come out early. So if you take Sadiq, you're going to get, in Dynasty, you're going to get a couple years out of him, which I like. So put him in number 2. Dorian Fleming. I think you remember him from Georgia State last year. He was one of the best fantasy tight ends in the Sun Belt.
I'm pretty sure I mentioned him to you somewhere last year. I'm sure.
Yeah, I think we mentioned him. I think we mentioned him on a waiver show, or you did. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure one of us did.
He's going to be, a lot of those targets last year, and maybe it was Edwards. Maybe it was just the fact you had 2 NFL receivers in Prather and Ty Felton, but he's going to get a lot of those targets this year. Last year at Georgia State had almost 50 catches, 6 receiving touchdowns, 78 targets. Another guy, Jay, with 2 years of eligibility left. So you're going to get multiple years with him in Dynasty if you take him. and he did have a 3 touchdown game against Texas State. Not quite Ohio State or Texas, but Texas State has a good program. So he had 3 touchdowns against them. Be interesting to see what he does against the big boys. He's making the jump to the Big Ten. Number 4, Jay, I put Jamison Gears. Had, obviously different quarterback this year, probably not as good as Max Brosmer, but Gears had 4 receiving touchdowns last year, almost 300 yards, 42 targets. So I think the last 2 here, you could kind of put different guys in here. It runs into that. It kind of runs into this situation every conference we do, right? Like the last maybe 2-3 guys, the last 2-3 tight ends in a conference, it's like pick your poison. Which 250-yard tight end are you going to take? Jay looks like his screen froze, and he looks like he's about to go to sleep. Looks like one of the 7 dwarfs. But no, Jamison Gears. You could put Jack Velling above him, but Velling's coming off a foot injury, so I'll take Gears. He's fully healthy, and also a senior, so you're getting 1 more year of eligibility out of him. What do we got here?
Whoa!
What do we got here?
I don't know what happened.
We switched sides. Is that what we did?
I don't know what happened, but next thing you know, you were talking about Gears, and next thing you know, we just totally froze. I'm like, what the just happened? So yeah, we are sorry.
Jamie thought I was talking about an engine. He thought I was talking about gears in a motor. He wasn't.
Yes.
Caden here, 12-team PPR. Who's your first pick and at the turn? Keep hearing Kyron, Puka, and A-Chain. Nico, meh.
Well, I mean, for me, I guess
Kyron Williams, Puka, or Devon A-Chain.
I would be taking Puka in the first round. That's me though. I mean, that's
of that group of guys, Jay. I know they have, and this is an NFL question, but whatever. It's our show. We do whatever the hell we want. Yeah, Devontae. I know they have Devontae Adams with the Rams now. but Puka Nacua is still the number one. Kyron Williams, I know his contract situation got weird this offseason.
Yeah.
So, the Rams and the Rams are always, there's always a draft away from, because that's what they did with Kyron Williams. He was a 6th-round guy out of Notre Dame, a few years ago. So they're, maybe they find a young, cheaper guy. I forget who they took. I thought they took a decent running back in the later rounds, but Kyron Williams, I'm not super high on. I know he's put up good stats. I've never been high on him. Devon Achane, if Devon Achane can stay healthy, and that's the big question with him, I think the Dolphins, especially if Tua goes down again, the Dolphins will be dog shit. Puka's the pick, like Jay was saying.
Yeah, I like Puka here. I mean, the only thing about Kyron is, you got Corum there now. I mean, he came from Michigan State. He's a grinder, and I believe he should be getting the carries there in with the Rams. I mean, I like what he brought to the table. We kind of talked to him, a few years ago before he ended the draft. He might be a small guy, but I mean, very versatile kind of guy. I mean, A-Chain, I mean, everybody likes him, but he's kind of injury prone a little bit. So if he can stay healthy, I mean, he's not a bad pick. I mean, if I were going to go with him, make sure you either pick up Ollie Gordon, make sure you have one of those backs, just in case he does go down, because Ollie Gordon, he looked pretty good this preseason game, even though it was preseason, but Ollie Gordon he could. Honestly, I think Ollie Gordon could take over that backfield. He's a bruiser. He can actually take chunk yards. So I mean, that's just me though. But A-Chain's a given. That's who they paid and whatnot. So yeah, I know. I'm such a horrible person.
Don't have to leave. Ollie Gordon, obviously we know about Shador. What he did with the Browns, kind of. And he's still like 4th on the depth chart. Ollie Gordon's kind of like the running back equivalent, where it's there should be some more fanfare about him in Miami. Like why 2 years ago he was the top fantasy back in the country, wasn't he?
Oh yeah, he was.
He was like a lock. He was a lock minimum. Coming in like this time last year, he was a lock minimum 2nd-round draft pick, right? Maybe 1st round.
Oh yeah,
and
if he didn't, had the year that the Cowboys had this year, he would have been, a 1st-round talent, 2nd-round talent for sure. But that's the kind of the downfall. These are things that happen in college football. They look at a lot of metrics and stuff like that. And I thought honestly, I mean, the way we viewed Ollie Gordon, I mean, he should have been, he's a 1st-round back in my eyes. I mean, he's got
absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, you were mentioning Gears. I mean, they have Drake Lindsay as quarterback. He's a freshman, for Minnesota here. And Gears is going to be probably getting a lot of targets because this freshman he might be getting in trouble, and he's going to need to check down real quick.
That's what I'm hoping for. Check down Charlie. That's what we're gonna call it. And I'm hoping Gears is the beneficiary of that, because and there's a lot of these tight ends, like we always say. There's a lot before your screen froze. I was saying, like, there's a lot of 250-yard, 200-yard tight ends in these conferences. You kind of pick guys with the highest ceiling, and Gears working with a freshman quarterback. They don't have any receivers there with the Gophers. They have Darius Taylor. That's about it. So Gears, I'm hoping, is the number 2 option behind Darius Taylor.
I think that's gonna be a trend. I mean, a lot of and if us playing and the NFL side, we have struggles with tight ends not being that great. You might get those few that are 1,000-yard guys like Tyler Warren, and then we're just kind of picking the next guys. I mean, we had Andre Gatson from Syracuse, and then we had the other guy. We had Arreo,
my boy Harold Fannin Jr.
Yes, well, him
and
yes, and then we had Miami, the other guy down there too. So he's actually with Seattle this year.
Arroyo.
Yes, yep. So I know. I think us looking into tight ends here, especially in fantasy, it's very hard to pick and choose these guys.
Yeah, and the last guy here, Jay, I put Jack Belling. He's coming off a foot injury, but last year he only had 1 touchdown, and that's what kind of hurt him in fantasy. But That's very fixable. Just put your foot. I guess it's college. You put your one foot in the end zone. You put your one foot in. You put your one foot out. So you do
then
a
you
little
dance all around.
Yeah, but he did have 36 receptions last year, 411 yards on 58 targets. Why I put him in the top 5 and why I could put him above Gears possibly is he had 8 touchdowns with Oregon State 2 years ago before he transferred. Remember the big exodus. Remember DJU and Velling. Oregon State lost a bunch of players a couple years ago when the Pac-12 folded.
Yeah.
So Jack Velling, I think, is in the top 5 here, and Michigan State. They got they're working with some pieces there. I think Michigan State is another team that could surprise some people. Not like compete for the conference, but maybe win 7 or 8 games.
Well, I guess that wraps up Eli's top 5, and he's got a sleeper, and hopefully it's not one of my sleepers.
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, we need sound effects, so wake up alarm. Here we go. If I had my phone here, I'd set my alarm right here. Here we go. So my watch list guy is a West Virginia transfer, and he's filling some big shoes. I mean, we're talking big shoes. Pat Bryant, who is one of our favorite players. We covered him in our spotlights. We loved him all last year with Illinois. Him and Altmaier, yes. Great combination. So Hudson Clement is actually right now he's penciled in. I mean, this could change. He could end up their number 3 receiver. We don't know. But right now, Hudson Clement is penciled in to be the number 1 receiver for Illinois, which means number 1 targets. And I'm just hoping he carries over some of the momentum from the Frisco Bowl. Jay, he had 11 catches, 166 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the Frisco Bowl last year with West Virginia. Can you name anybody from West Virginia? Exactly. So he'll be working with some better players at Illinois, better quarterback. Luke Altmaier is going to be an NFL, is going to be drafted by the NFL, going to be one of the better fantasy quarterbacks. So I liked his, he had decent stats last year with West Virginia. 51 receptions on 79 targets, close to 750 yards, receiving 5 touchdowns. I mean, nothing special, but you're hoping, kind of being a number 1, working with Luke Altmaier, that maybe he could bump that up a little bit. And this is a sleeper list. This isn't like I'm not including him in any top 5 or top 15 list or anything. The whole point of this segment is to help find you a deep sleeper. If you see him on the waivers, like, oh shit, the Out of Rhythm guys talked about him, before the season, and go snag him up.
Well, I mean, the last time that I watched West Virginia was when Will Greer was their quarterback.
Yeah, Will Greer, or maybe go back further. Pat White, Geno Smith.
I mean, I watched a little bit of West Virginia a little bit last year, but I wasn't impressed. So I mean, we all watch. I mean, I'm trying to get all. I mean, I'm trying to watch all the teams. I'm trying to digest what I can from every game, and it's very hard to digest everything in one slump. So it is what it is.
People don't understand. Like NFL is easier. You only got 32. I mean, we gotta cover 136 teams here.
Yeah.
And then still we have to do a little bit of extra work and kind of follow some of the bigger FCS programs, because a lot of their players are gonna jump, like Mark Gronowski, bumping up from the Jacks to the Hawkeyes, at Iowa. So so we gotta. I mean, there's a lot of ground to cover. There's so we there's some guys that slip through the cracks we don't see. I remember I was watching the Frisco Bowl. Clement stood out to me. And I know it's one game. It's like, Eli, it's just one game. Calm down. Well, I was excited. I was like, oh my God. He's going to Illinois. Yes.
Oh, you're a fruitcake. You know that. But
can I
anyways.
can I tag you in here? There we go. I'll go get my beer. Keep talking.
You do that. My Big Ten fantasy sleepers. I mean, I don't know. Nico really isn't really a fantasy sleeper, but I mean, we all see what he did in the SEE. I don't know. I think he can actually bring a little something to UCLA, and I'm kind of excited about it. I mean, last year 206.06, 19 touchdowns. That's 303 fantasy points, averaging about 23. I don't know. I think this guy can actually lift up UCLA. I like it. It's a little extreme, but I mean, I think this is a guy. I mean, a lot of people are like wouldn't say not sleeping on or disliking a little bit. But I mean, I don't know. I was kind of like, ooh, UCLA. I mean, I like it just because it's a change of pace. And, a big quarterback going to a smaller school. I like it. I think he's got to find, for me, I think he's going to have to find his footing pretty damn quick, with maybe trying to turn this program around. And I like possibility of a couple of his wide receivers too as well, but I'll mention those when I get there. So, and there's one guy that you did not mention, Eli, that was an Illinois guy, and Malachi Islay from Illinois is a guy that I think I'm going to be watching.
Oh no! Oh
no! I mean, if you look at his numbers here, I mean, 52 yards, 77 yards, a couple touchdowns. With Pat Bryant being gone, I mean, this guy is tall. This guy is tall, linky. I mean, he can add some versatility, some down yard, deep throws. I mean, I think there's a possibility. I mean, this guy can actually, see those, other 93 targets that, Pat Bryant or 103, whatever Pat Bryant had, I think can go his way. So he's a guy I think can actually stream up board, the draft boards maybe a little bit. Maybe take a sleeper on this guy, at the end of your drafts, or wait for the waivers to hit and just kind of see what this guy does. But he is one guy I think, especially in this offense that's missing pieces. He is one guy I would be looking at to be drafted.
Yeah, obviously, we talked about Nico earlier. Love Nico a lot. Especially, there's no pressure. Who the hell expects? I mean, people don't even expect UCLA to win 6 games. You know what I mean? So yeah. There's no pressure on him there. Can put up some stats, and I expect him to kind of elevate the team.
Yeah,
LZ, yeah. If you want to take a flyer on him, that's fine. Because I mean, it's an open room. I mean, Hudson Clement wasn't a world beater at West Virginia last year.
No.
Illinois, I forget the running back's name, but they had a really good running back. He's gone now. Obviously, Pat Bryant went to the NFL. So Illinois lost some skill position guys. So it's an open room. So, whoever wants to jump up and be the number one target, they can do that. So I don't mind either of these guys.
Good. I'm glad you like my list.
I do. I want to give you a big bear hug. Come here, you.
I spent hours and hours and hours looking. But yes, I posted a thing on Twitter last night doing research on the Big 12 or Big 10. So yeah. Yep, I had fun. I think there's a lot of very well potential with a lot of guys leaving. I think there's a lot of potential for a lot of these guys that you're maybe just seeing maybe 10 or 12 targets to actually see an uprise. And I don't know, I think especially with Maryland too. I mean, we had a lot of, especially Ty Felton. There was a lot of big name guys that are actually gone, and now we got these other kids that are going to be coming in, need to fill in roles. And I don't know, I like it. I like it a lot.
I like it. I like it a lot. What do we got? We got more. Ooh.
Yes. So, I mean, this is going to be, it's a 2-pager just because there's so many teams, because, Big Ten, kind of big. I love RotoWire to help me build my graph for this, here's something for us to kind of think about. A lot of, we really don't I like it, because we can look at how many plays a team, how many teams plays in a year that a team's doing and their average, and we can maybe take a look at us maybe snagging one of those guys from one of those teams that are got some high volume, a lot, like Penn State, over 1,000 some odd plays last year. That's, almost 65, plays a game, just to think about that. I mean, it's a nice breakdown from the pass to the rush. I mean, you can see they weren't really pass heavy, a little bit more on the rush side, 58%. So if you guys want to stop, screenshot this one, you sure can. Or later on, if you guys are, if you're following me on the X, these will be out there too as well at some time too as well. But I mean, this is a good breakdown. I mean, look at Rutgers, 56 overall, 56% in the rush, 43 in the pass. So I mean, there's a lot of versatility, versatile in this league itself. USC, I was actually kind of surprised that they actually, were kind of like high volume, 900 some odd plays. I didn't think they actually did that much, but I mean, almost nearly 70 plays per game. So I think this is another aspect that, a lot of people are not really bringing it to kind of break down a little bit, so we can actually see where some of the volume is coming from, or we can kind of lean more toward either the pass game or the run game with some of these teams when we think about fantasy. And this is why I kind of bring it up. Like, this will be a kind of a nice little touch for us to actually take a look at when we're breaking down these teams.
And just looking at some of the teams here, just skimming this. Washington, Nebraska, they're super balanced. Even Oregon, they're pretty balanced offenses. You see, Penn State, and what we always talk about, like how impressive Drew Aller has been, given that, it's almost 60-40, rushing there. So they're going to rely more on that.
And
Indiana's a pass, not as heavy on the pass there, more on the rush. And we saw that last year playing squad blitz. Indiana was one of the better rushing attacks. I don't know how good they're going to be with, Fernando Mendoza versus Curtis Rourke, but be an interesting play there. USC, I don't even know who the hell. I'd have to get the depth chart out. Get the old depth chart out for USC for the running back room.
Yeah,
let's see.
Wait.
So they do have Eli Sanders. Eli Sanders from New Mexico. So I take that. I'm not going to talk smack about the USC running back room because I liked Eli Sanders at New Mexico. He transferred over to USC. Probably be their feature back. He's solid.
Yeah, I think Maryland is going to be a little bit different. I mean, 72.
Yeah, without Edwards and the two stud receivers, yeah, for sure. Yeah. Maryland might be more balanced this year.
Yeah, 57 in the pass, a little bit better in the rush. Because I don't think they really had a rushing game. They were more,
they didn't know.
Let's snap quick. Let's get the ball out, and that's why Ty Felton
they had to.
That's why they were great. I mean, they got a freshman this year, so I don't think it's going to be as high this year, but I don't know. I'm for some reason I just want freshmen. I just want to go out and grab all these freshman guys and see what happens. But it's just one of those weird things here. But let's get on to the second page here real quick. You can see Minnesota, Illinois, Michigan, Wisconsin.
Shocker! Michigan rushes like 99% of the time. Shocker.
That's the one crazy thing to think about this. Michigan. They had two good backs. They're gone now. They really didn't have it. It was Terofis, just because their quarterback, was horrible. They couldn't get a great
horrible.
Negatives. This guy couldn't throw the ball. They were struggling to even get the offense going. They were the talk of last year until they got Bryce Underwood, which was the talk of this year, freshman. I don't know. Can he change the Michigan offense a little bit? Can he do something?
They were talking about Dylan Raiola as the second coming. So Underwood, I know he was paid a bunch of NIL money, and people think he's fucking Arch Manning or something. It's like, just pump the brake. Pump the brakes a little bit. You're doing 100 miles an hour. Pump the brakes a little bit on Underwood.
I know. For the last half here, I think Purdue is way at the bottom. I honestly could not find anybody for Purdue that was fantasy irrelevant. I mean,
No, they lost Max Clare. Who the hell? Yeah, keep talking. I'm going to see who the hell is on the Purdue depth chart here.
Yeah, I mean Iowa. I mean, look at Iowa. That's why I brought up. Can Gronkowski, get the pass offense going? 34% in the pass, very rush heavy. I mean, I know we're kind of all over the place a little bit, but it's Minnesota's kind of, I don't know. It's kind of funky to me, but that's the one thing that kind of blows my mind to kind of see some of the, Michigan was more run heavy, Iowa was rush heavy, and now all those teams are going to be gone. The players are going to be gone. So what kind of offense is Iowa and Michigan going to be this year? That's the thing that I'm going to be kind of paying attention to, because I know I like to see some of these freshman quarterbacks get off to the right foot and just make plays, bring the hype to the college realm. I mean, that's just me. I mean, a lot of people weren't really talking about Sam Levitt until he had a breakout game, and next thing Sam and Tyson are the talk of the town. So I mean, I don't. It's kind of curious, if Underwood kind of has a flop. I mean, that's not going to be great for Michigan. That's for sure.
I just, you know what? I know you were talking about some other teams there at the end.
Yeah.
I just have to get this in there. Purdue, according to CBS Sports has their preseason rankings of all 136 teams. Purdue is the lowest ranked Power 4 team.
What? No, yeah,
I think they're number 92 overall. Yeah, they're fucking garbage. They have nothing on the offensive side of the ball. This team is going to struggle to win 3 games. Like, Purdue is junk. They might go 1-11. I mean, Purdue is fucking awful. Stay the hell away from their fantasy players. I think they have a running back. The receivers. The most experienced receiver has like a 300-yard season 2 years ago. Maccabee is like their running back. He's had a couple like very mid seasons, like 600 and 800 yards rushing. So nothing great. Like Purdue has nothing. That has 1-11 written all over it. That is garbage. They deserve to be at the bottom of plays per game. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think there's some. I mean, I think there's some talent. I know we talked about the Wisconsin running back, but I think he's gone. I know,
Walker left. Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure where he went because
he went to Cincinnati, didn't he?
Did he? I'm not sure. I know. I was kind of looking to see if he was actually still on the roster, because he was a guy that I was actually going to bring up. Then I'm like, wait, he's not there. I'm like, where in the hell did he go? So I mean, he had a few hot games, right off the bat. I mean, I think he had back-to-back touchdowns, some 100-yard games. I mean, he was putting up 15 to 20 points. I think early in the season. So I mean, he was I helped a lot of people too as well. But yeah, is there anything else you like from this list, Eli?
I didn't know Illinois' rushing attack was that was skewed that much. I figured it was more balanced, maybe 50-49 or so. Especially with Altmaier.
Yeah.
Michigan doesn't shock me. Iowa doesn't shock me. They're run heavy. Michigan State a little more balanced than I thought they were, but I figured the passing game there would be a little bit more. But UCLA, that's a good omen for Nico. They trended towards being a passing attack last year. Before he got there, so I think it's the same coach, same regime. So
yeah, I know. I'm kind of fond of UCLA this year. I want them to change their program around. I kind of want to see them get the hype and whatnot. Maybe let's see what they bring to the yard after smacking or getting a guy like Nico and his brother back now too. So on the defense,
they better be careful, Jay. They better be careful. I mean, take advantage of this, because if Nico pops, one of the big programs is going to come calling.
Yeah.
Especially if Underwood doesn't perform at Michigan, Michigan's going to come calling. If Sayin isn't very good, Ohio State's going to come calling. One of these power, the elites of the elite, they're going to come calling for Nico. So UCLA, take advantage of this year, try to win. I think a fucking like 8-4 season would be great. I mean, that would, and Nico has a big fantasy year and kind of puts them, puts them back on the map. I think that'd be a damn good season.
Yeah, because I think I was going to look up his before we get into the top 15 here to wrap up the show here. I don't know where they had him projection wise with Nico. Yeah, he's not even the top 20 far as projection wise. I think he's like in the 200s. I think not 200s. Like
that's good. That's good. Let
yeah.
let people fall asleep on Nico. Let them just forget about him, and then the next thing they know, midway through the year, like, oh shit.
I think they got him projected for maybe like 250 some odd fantasy points. I think somewhere in there. So I mean, it's not a lot. So they thinking he's gonna like slide down. So, but I mean, I don't know. I hope something comes from Nico.
His stock has never been lower. So Nico, buy on Nico.
Got that right. All right. Now, last to the, but finally.
There we go. I've been waiting for this. My favorite part.
Yeah, you stole some of my guys. We talked about Fleming, Jack Felding. These are, we're actually going backwards here. So Fleming, we talked about him. 142 fantasy points. He saw 79 targets. And I think he actually can break it open, 6+ 20-yard, receiving, in the after the catch. So I mean, this guy's got some wheels to him a little bit, as long as and I think with Malachi Washington, being a freshman, he's gonna have to rely on, if he has to check down real quick. And this guy I think he's gonna see a little bit more targets than 79, but hopefully maybe this guy can see 700 some odd yards. I think that would probably be prime, maybe 8 touchdowns at max. But I mean, that's asking way too much from a freshman quarterback, but you never know. 14 we talked about a little bit. I know. I mean, it was funny because last minute I was trying to get after work. I'm like, I had a little bit of this to wrap up, and Eli, I'm like, dude, Eli, I need one more guy, and he's like, if you would have told me he was actually in there, I probably would have tried to find one more other guy. But I told Eli my top 15 is gonna be a little orthodox because it's a little different than probably what his is. But yeah. With Nico going to UCLA, I like Gilmore. 78 fantasy points, 50 targets, 345, and with I'm not sure how many. There we go, 2 touchdowns, 4+ 20-yard in the receiving game there a little bit after the catch. So I think this guy's got a little bit of wheels, but I think with Nico being there, I think these two can be a 1-2 punch a little bit. So Gilmer, I think, is going to see a lot more targets than expected. But if you guys are, if you guys are watching, don't be shy to, jump in the comments or say what you guys think. If you think we're wrong, then put, say we're wrong. So I mean, don't be shy about it. I know it's funny because we were talking about Michigan State and I'm like, man, are we going to give Chili's a lot of love on this show this
Chili's baby back ribs.
My top 15 are going to be a little bit different than Eli's. I do have a few guys into it as well, but I think there's some potential in some of these guys that I'm kind of mentioning. I don't know, Nick Marsh, 127 fantasy points, 63 targets. I think this is going to be a boost because, I think Chili's was a freshman last year. So I think this, with him and Marsh staying there, I think this is going to be a little bit, a nice 1-2 punch too as well. So I think a lot of his targets and yards will be going up. I think the touchdowns should be going up too as well. Besides the 3, I mean, look at how many plus 20 yards he had. He had 8 catches for 20+ yards. I mean, that's some talent right there. I mean, this is a guy who can break away real quick too as well. I mean, just looking at that, I mean, that guy's got some speed if he can, have that many breakaway catches too as well.
Jay, real quick. Michigan State also picked up Amari Kelly.
Oh, yes.
I think he was at Middle Tennessee.
Yep, he was. Yep.
Yeah, he had a damn. I remember him. I picked him up on the waivers last year. Amari Kelly. Yeah, Michigan State's got a nice. They got a deceptively good. if you know, in fantasy or just record wise, like watch out for Michigan State. Like, you know, Chiles, he's a decent quarterback. Like this team could win 8 games for sure.
Yeah. So my number 11 is Malachi Washington. Sorry, there's no stats there. I mean, that was 20 projections that he's going to put up about 281 fantasy points in total. So I mean, I'm not sure what the average is. So I mean, we got a freshman guy coming in. And I think here, I was like, ooh, I think I had somebody else as one of the wide receivers. I don't remember, but I don't know. This guy seems like he's got some talent to him. I didn't really get a chance to really. I'm like, I was like, I'm gonna do all freshmen maybe, but I think there's an open opportunity for this guy to actually, hopefully, he can bring something to what Underwood's going to be and whatnot in this conference itself. So I mean, I like freshmen that are going to be coming in. We'll see what Maryland can do. I know they lost Ty Felton, which is probably not going to help out a whole lot in that game, but I think there should be somebody else there too as well. But I know Florian's going to, be a check down for this guy. But I think this guy is actually pretty. I think he's like 6'2" or 6'3". So this is a pretty big quarterback too as well. So hopefully he can actually spread open, the ball downfield too. So what do you think?
Good list. I like Fleming a lot. Jack Velling, 8 touchdowns at Oregon State 2 years ago. If he comes off that injury, okay, I think Velling is, a couple. I don't mind having a couple tight ends here at the back end for sure.
Yeah.
And then you have a couple guys that, boom or bust. You know what I mean? Like Gilmer could, his productivity could increase with Nico being there. Nick Marsh, same thing. And Malik Washington kind of taking over the Maryland offense, and Edwards was a really good fantasy quarterback with them last year. So we'll see what Washington does for sure. I don't mind this for being a back end. I wouldn't have this as my top 5 or anything, but nice back 15.
Good. I'm glad. I'm glad you like it. So my number 10 is going to CJ Campbell. I mean, from FAU. I mean, 6 plus 20 yards. On the ground. 844. I wish he had 1,000 yards, but I mean, 258 fantasy points. I mean, not a lot on his body either. I mean, 165 carries. That's not a lot. I mean, just to think about some of the guys that are getting like over 250 some odd carries, near 270. I mean, that's a lot on the back, a lot on the back itself. But I like CJ Campbell. I mean, it's not going to hurt. One guy getting out of there. I mean, it's going to be, open game field for this guy, and I like it. I mean, hopefully he can reproduce, for a lot of us too in fantasy, especially. I mean, too bad he's not in the, the G5, down with FAU, because I mean, we could be drafting this guy, in the G5 league, which you still need to freaking get in on. So
send me I've been busy, man. Send me the link again.
Maybe you should just check your text messages, bro. But I got Nico at number 9. 303 fantasy points. That's 223.3 in for his average. 2,600 yards, 19 touchdowns, 200. No, I think he had more than 2 interceptions. Did he had? I think he had 11. Did he had 11 or 2 interceptions? I'm not sure exactly. I think I had that right, but maybe I was looking wrong. But I like the fact that if he did, he's great with the ball. This guy, I think with him going to UCLA, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. I don't know. I like it.
I like him at number 9. I like CJ. CJ could be a little bit higher, honestly, but he's fine at 10.
Yeah. I got number 8. At number 8, we talked about Jonah Coleman a little bit earlier too as well. I think he's got, I can think he can reproduce, especially with a young quarterback that we mentioned with Williams. This only helps a freshman, especially having a back that actually can, carry it that many times, take the load off him, just so he can get comfortable in the offense. I mean, this only adds to the factor of, fantasy points McGlure. So I mean, 7 plus 20 yards on the ground. I was actually looking back and I'm like, dude, I mean, for a big guy, I mean, that's, breaking some tackles right there. So I think this guy is I think he's in his second or third round. Not sure exactly in most mock drafts from what I've seen, but I have to go back and take a look at that. But this is one of the guys you might want to be taking, maybe in your first, or I wouldn't say first, maybe second or third pick if he is there. Devontae Ross, number 7. I mean, we talked about him a little bit earlier too as well. 122 targets. I mean, 7+ 20 yards. I mean, that's some speed right there, man.
He kills.
Yes, it does. I mean, he kind of reminds me of Zachariah Branch because Ross is probably a little bit taller, but I mean, Branch, small, quick. He kind of makes me think of that, and it's kind of funny. I can't remember. I said something that he kind of Branch reminds me of Xavier Worthy because of just how quick he is, but not like him, but I mean,
not as good, but
yeah. But these are number 6 here. I have Bryce Underwood at number 6. I'm gonna take some risks here a little bit, but these are his projections that they have for him: 18 touchdowns, 261 fantasy points. That's an average of 21 points per game. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, at night, somebody that's Michigan got, I kind of like it. I mean, I'm gonna take a risk on it and see. I mean, for me, when I was kind of looking into this, I'm like, can a guy like him actually bring, some wide receivers to the room and actually like be able to chuck the ball down, down the field, so they're not a run heavy team like they have been the last couple of years. And I don't. Do you think Underwood can actually, change the Michigan offense a little bit?
Nope.
No.
One word. Not in 1 year. Maybe his junior year. Yeah. No. I think it's be more of the same. It's just, he might be mobile, like, and get some rushing touchdowns, and but I don't see him tearing it up through the air. Not, that even JJ McCarthy, who was a first round pick, and he's with the Vikings now. Even JJ McCarthy didn't put up, great fantasy numbers at Michigan's, and he was a national championship quarterback. So Bryce Underwood, I think especially fantasy, I think people just need to lower their expectations, especially year one.
So would you rather have Bryce Underwood or Malachi Washington? Yeah,
I'm gonna say neither.
Neither. Okay. Well, we'll put a poll out there on the good old X, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Last but finally, 5 through 1.
5, 4, 3, 2, 2.
Yeah. So number 5, we got Emmett Washington, 146 points, fantasy points, 116 carries, which isn't a lot because I believe they had somebody else there too. So they kind of had a two-headed monster, but I mean, 100.
Dowdle. He went to Kentucky.
Did he? Yep. So
Dante Dowdle.
Yep. So this should open him up for a little bit. 1 touchdown. So I think Nebraska offense is going to look a little bit different than what they did last year. And I think with Dylan being a freshman last year, I think Nebraska is going to look a little bit different this year. So I'm kind of hoping him being at number 3 doesn't come back and bite me too much here. I know that's saying a lot, but I mean, we're up in here in the Dakotas, and cannot hate on Nebraska all that much.
Gotta show some love for the Huskers. Although,
some people might think I'm nuts. Dylan Raiola, but some people might think I'm nuts. But in your top 3, once I post this on X, I'm sure I'm
you put Dylan Raiola at number 3. What? Oh God! Oh my God!
I mean, so of course, you're gonna have, Aller and
need another drink. Like what?
You're gonna have Luke.
How am I watching here? Dylan Raiola as the number 3 fantasy player in the conference. What were you smoking after work?
I don't know. But I don't know. I just think there's some potential, especially with, with Nebraska with a lot of moving pieces around. I mean, with him actually, being coming back, so I think there is some potential of him actually putting up some better stats than he did last year. I mean, 215 fantasy points, an average. So, I mean, I think he can kind of trickle with some of these bigger boys. I mean, if he can actually do like 25 points a game, I mean that's not going to be a bad backup, for a 1 week waiver guy. If he can put up those kind of fancy points, I mean, I'll be in. But I mean, with Emmett Johnson, kind of being back there, in the backfield, and I know, I think he can actually sling the ball. So I mean, 13 touchdowns. I like to see that go up a little bit more, but. So I know it's a little bit crazy, but I mean, it is what it is. I got Denzel Boston at number 4 as well. 184 fantasy points, 103 targets. I mean, I like to see maybe 1,000 some odd yards this season, maybe 10 touchdowns or 11 touchdowns on the ground or in the air. And he had 8 plus 20 yards, you know, after the catch. I mean, he's got some wheels to him. I mean, just I like what some of these stats are bringing to. So I like to kind of put out the what he does after the catch, so some of you guys can get some opportunities and see some just some different statistics when it comes to when we kind of dive into some of these. I mean, you're like, oh wow. I mean, I know my rankings were a little bit unorthodox, but I like to kind of see guys that are actually can make some plays, that are good in the open field, that might have an opportunity to, which we mentioned earlier in the show, that there's a lot of teams missing a lot of pieces, and there's some great opportunities for people to step up this year, and hopefully in fantasy too as well.
Yeah, no, Denzel Boston Jack was one of the best in the country. So
Yep.
I don't mind you mentioning that, but I think the guy at number 1 might hold my beer. I think.
Yeah.
Is Molly home?
I'll be done here shortly. Yeah. Yep. But yeah. Other than that, number 2, Mekhi Hughes. I like him. Even though I spelled his name wrong. My bad. I was trying to. I mean, he came from, I was on this guy as a freshman, and I liked what he brought. I'm like, ooh, I was actually telling people, especially in like, they were kind of in that Devy league. I'm like, dude, guys, go out and get like, when that was kind of starting to be a thing. And I told one guy, I'm like, dude, go out and snag up Mekhi Hughes. You're not going to regret me telling you to go pick him up. And I just like what he brought. I mean, 221 fantasy points. I mean, 265 carries. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, when we think about that, I mean, that's a lot of, wear and tear on the body. I mean, 14, back to back, 1,000 some odd yards, 15 touchdowns. But I mean, this kid's he's explosive. And I just hope he can kind of bring that to Oregon too, because I think they have him listed as the RB1 up there in the offense. So I like it. And then my number 1 is Jeremiah Smith. 311 fantasy points, 107 targets, nearly 1,300 yards, 15 touchdowns, 12 plus 20 yards after the catch. So this kid is great. So that's my number 1.
I like 3 of the 5. I don't even know if I'd include Emmett Johnson and De La Real in the top 15, to be honest. But to each his own. I see that number 21 Nebraska. I think of Lawrence Phillips, from back in the fucking 90s. I love Jeremiah Smith at 1, Mekhi Hughes at 2, Denzel Boston stud. He's like Roma Dunze part 2. Big 6'4" receiver. It's an interesting list. It's very eclectic. It kind of opens up your mind to some different players. Emmett Johnson should be in his defense. Emmett Johnson should be the feature guy with Nebraska. So that he should be his stats should go up. I just don't know if they're top 5 worthy for the conference, but
Yeah, I mean, Big Ten. There, I mean, there's a lot to dive into. I mean, of course, Ohio State's going to be the most reckoning team there. Oregon, probably Washington. These are going to be two of the out of the 16 teams. The top three teams are going to be talking about a lot. I mean, Illinois is going to be in there a little bit. I mean, Nebraska. I mean, if you think what Nebraska did last year too, especially as far as plays and whatnot, being relevant in the Big Ten. I mean, I think they just, for me, I think they're just going to go up. I mean, I don't. Am I just probably just thinking way too much about Nebraska, hoping to be their, being a great team? But I don't know.
Fingers crossed. It's local bias. It's local. If we were doing this show out of Philly or something, we'd probably we'd be talking up Villanova. We'd be like, oh, Villanova is going to win the FCS. It's just local bias. Cornhuskers. I was excited for Dylan Raiola last year. Dante Dowdle was a solid fantasy back. He went to Kentucky. I think they picked up Kentucky's receiver Key. But,
yeah.
Emmett there at running back. It's going to be another 6-6 Nebraska season. Let's just be honest. I wish it was more. It's sad to see this program where it's at, but
I want 8 wins. I want 8.
I love that, man. Like, I was so excited when Nebraska started off hot last year. Like,
they did
with Raiola. I mean, that was cool. I mean, and it's good now. They have enough national brands now. With Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Georgia. All the power schools, Oregon.
Okay.
Enough at the top, but it'd be nice to see Nebraska have a resurgence.
Okay, real quick here. They went 7-6 last year, 3-6 in conference. So here's the teams they're playing this year. Cincinnati.
Win
or loss. Okay.
Win.
Akron.
Win.
Yep. Houston Christian.
Win.
Michigan.
Loss.
Michigan State.
That's a toss-up. Loss.
At Maryland.
Win. 4-2.
Yep. Minnesota.
Win. 5-2.
Northwestern.
6-2.
USC.
Loss.
At UCLA.
I'm gonna say loss because they got Nico. 6-4.
Penn State.
Loss.
And then Iowa to wrap up their schedule.
I'll be nice. 7-5. So the Cornhuskers should have a 7-5 season, bowl eligible, playing like maybe if they're lucky, the Alamo Bowl. I don't know. Like it's it's very mid. It's very 6-7 win mid. Just more of the same stuff that, Nebraska's never bottomed out. They're not Purdue. I mean, Purdue's a joke. They're not at that level, but, they're 6-7 win program.
Yeah.
It's sad.
But anyways, we're going to get this show wrapped up. I got some food to eat and
me too.
But he's got to work in the morning.
Starving.
I got to work in the morning.
Yep.
We appreciate all the views on X.
Yes.
Couple of views on YouTube. We appreciate all those. But make sure you guys are following us on social medias, on the X at Outer Rhythm Fan, Eli at Eli Appletoft. Make sure you're following us on the Apple and Spotify as well. Wherever you guys can get your podcasts at, that's where we'll be. But wherever it's floats around in the internet or whatever you want to call it, say the social medias. We do have a Discord link. I do post everything in there. Most of our content too in there, and we got the Instagram too as well out there. I have to get some of these these little bits cut up so I can get those posted on the IG.
Get some shorts, get some YouTube shorts, and me basically destroying any Nebraska fans' hopes this year, calling them a mid 6 or 7 win program.
But we appreciate everybody that was in tune. So give us a like if you like what you got. Give us a subscribe, give us a heart on X. We appreciate all the views. So we'll catch you guys on the next breakdown. It could be the Big Ten, Conference USA.
Well, what do we got left, Jay?
You know, maybe the two pack. Maybe the two pack. You know?
The two teams. Yeah, that'd be easy to cover. That'd be a 20-minute show. The Pac-12.
Yeah.
Maybe
knows?
the Big 12. Maybe the Big 12. Maybe we could talk. Maybe we talk about Colorado post Travis Hunter and Shador. You know, maybe get into see what Iowa State's got cooking, or K-State, or defending champ Arizona State, Sam Leavitt.
Yeah, who knows? Stay tuned. You know, follow us on the social medias, and you'll know which one will be coming out. So, other than that, I'm Jamie, and that's Eli. We'll catch you guys on the next one. See ya.